Floods across northwest Nigeria destroyed 90% of the 2 million tons that Kebbi state officials expected to harvest this season. The loss amounts to some 20% of the rice Nigeria grew last year, and the waters are still rising. A shortage of maize has forced farmers to sell most of their poultry because chicken feed prices have more than doubled. We will be examining the effect of these challenges and the general inflation level in the country. Welcome to Inside Business on Galaxy Television. I am Justin Akadonye. A former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Alhaji Sanusi Lamido, says Nigeria has not moved in years. Here's details of that and other stories on Business Roundup. Take a look.
Former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, His Royal Majesty Sanusi Lamido, says the nation has been stolen for years in comparison to other African and Asian countries. Sanusi said this while giving his keynote address at the 5th edition of the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit, tagged CADInvest 5.0. While the former CBN governor compared Nigeria with other African countries in terms of GDP per capita, tax revenue per capita, and development spending per capita over the years, he says what made Nigeria successful in the pre-oil period was diversification. Sanusi said although Nigeria had diversity within commodity export, Nigeria should realize that the terms of trade has shifted.
90% of Nigeria's per capita GDP, but Kenya was able to raise $280 per capita and invest $280 per capita on development. So Kenya, which has 90% of our per capita GDP, is able to raise 4 times as much in tax per capita and spend 7 times as much. GDP has declined by 1%. In an exam, you move 90% of Nigeria's per capita GDP, but Kenya was able to raise $280 per capita and invest $280 per capita on development. So Kenya, which has 90% of our per capita GDP, is able to raise 4 times as much in tax per capita and spend 7 times as much. Nigerians are wiped out. And how many families have become poor? As we know from development theory, over the long term, the terms of trade shift against primary exporters, and therefore any country that's in the global environment, any country that is operating on a global scale needs to move away and diversify not just its product base, but diversify away from primary production to secondary and tertiary sectors.
On the issue of electricity tariff use and conversation, Sanusi believes the government is not having the conversation that convinces people. He also made a case for the millions of Nigerians who cannot afford to eat.
For every naira you spend on electricity, you are earning 10, 20 naira. That's why at very low levels of poverty, income elasticity is far, far more important than price elasticity. People would pay anything for electricity if they knew how to turn electricity into an earning capacity. When people cry, it's because they are paying for power and earning nothing from it. If you go to a village and give a man electricity and he's paying 100 naira per kilowatt hour, and he can turn that if he has a small freezer and his wife is making kununzaki and he is selling, and every month he's spending X thousand on electricity and making 4 times more from selling kununzaki, he's happy.
The federal government has been urged to focus on policies that will improve small and medium-scale enterprises and Nigerians, especially as they grapple with the effect of the pandemic. This is coming on the sidelines of recent policies, including self-certification forms, deregulation, inflation rates, and other present issues affecting the economy. CEO Global Wealth System, Dr. Chris Imumulen dropped these hints at the inauguration of the Global Wealth System. Imumulen, who says the need for Nigerians to get multiple streams of income cannot be overemphasized, makes a case for mechanized farming as a way out of the biting food crisis in Nigeria.
Because look at what has happened during the COVID-19. Education business is totally scrapped, except for those who are online. Even for Africa, we do not have this online culture. So most teachers, most hotels are really struggling, you know. So those are the people that actually are those that have multiple stream of. It's very billionaires of today's world have minimum of 7 stream of income. Minimum of 7 stream of income. So it's very important because of the fluctuation of economic realities to have at least 2 or 3 or 4 streams of income.
The Global Wealth System is a platform which offers about 22 business opportunities on a networking basis. Some of the members speak further on how it can better the lot of many in the present economy.
Instance, educational system, the economy, the businesses, everywhere seem to have been locked down because of the impact. But what the global wealth system has done is to break these walls, to break these boundaries. So irrespective of the challenges that there are, because it is a system that is already molded such that it's not limited by this constraint.
And another one that really is amazing for me is the farm produce. I realize that we are so blessed in this country. We are sitting on a gold mine. And I tell myself that after realizing, information is power. The difference between the poor and the rich is the information they access. You understand? So they share the same 24 hours, they share the same sun, the same rain. But the information the rich man accessed made him different from the poor man.
We discovered that many persons, especially most entrepreneurs, find it difficult to start a business. So they don't have this zeal, sometimes financial constraint and the rest of them. So what we have done is we've put together 22 businesses that what you just need to do is just to think about it, then it becomes easy for you. A lot of people want to start real estate business, VTU business, education business, want to start hotels and travel, and a lot of businesses, but they don't know where to go to, how to get information, how to start, where are the customers. So what the platform have done is to have all these things in place for them. So it makes entrepreneurship easy for everybody.
The scope of the GWS includes wealth, investment, business, and charity. The Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, has released a preliminary report on a helicopter crash that occurred at the Okpebi area of Lagos State on the 28th of August 2020. The accident involved a Bell 206B3 helicopter with nationality and registration marks 5NBQW, operated by Quorum Aviation Limited. The report revealed that the helicopter had a valid certificate of airworthiness as the pilot's last medical examination was valid till the 6th of August 2020. It also said there was no evidence to show that an application for the exemption provided by the All Operators Letter AOL DG020/20 had been submitted to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority NCAA. The report also revealed that the chopper had no capability to jettison fuel.
The twin crisis, floods and maize shortages come just after movement restrictions and financing difficulties caused by COVID-19 containment measures complicated farming this season. On Inside Business this week, I speak with the former president of the Agric and Non-Island sector of the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Prince Wale Oyekoye, as he says Nigeria is in the midst of a food crisis. All right, you're still watching Inside Business on Galaxy Television, and we will be focusing on agriculture and food Are we actually heading towards a food crisis in Nigeria? What with all the floods that have happened in some states in recent times? And it is no longer news that the price of maize has actually skyrocketed in the Nigerian market. Okay, joining us on the show this afternoon is the CEO of Bama Farms, and of course he is the former chairman of the Agriculture and Non-Oil Group, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Prince Wale Oyikoya on the show. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, you know, there's a twin problem right now in Nigeria, and some people say that the nation's actually headed towards a food crisis. You are aware of the floods that happened somewhere around Jigawa and other states. Plus, the price of maize has actually skyrocketed. What do we have before us?
Well, definitely, we like it or not, wish our leaders are not really giving us the right information. We are really in deep recession. Because when you have an inflation of about 13.22% in August alone, which was just about 12.24% in last month. So definitely, coupled with the unemployment of people, high food prices, it's not just maize, it's everything is skyrocketed. If you go to the market today, you will weep for the people that doesn't have the income. Even the market woman even complain because many people does not even want to buy, or they buy little of what they want because the price is just too much. You can imagine we are buying rice of almost about 30,000 per bags, something that is not like that a year ago. So that tells you that we are not self-sufficiency in some of these things. So we have food crisis in our hand. And how do we really tackle this thing? This is what has been really happening in the last 10 years. That have been warning our government, but they have not been listening that mechanization with our population is the only way out. You have to modernize the equipment that we're using to do the business of agriculture, not just the normal business of our forefathers of quarters and hoe. Let us go back to the drawing board where we used to be the leading producer of groundnut, cocoa, rubber, and palm oil. If you look at it today now, most of these things we import them to the country. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and they have already taken over. And these are the small countries that look up to us. Now we are looking up to them. Look at what just happened recently in Ghana. Indirectly, they're telling us that Nigeria must go in Ghana, which was the other trend in the 70s, that Ghana must go. Because there's no way why you have to impose $1 million on our businesses, on our businessmen in Ghana. They are just telling us indirectly that we don't want to. So what make people leave the country is because of the inefficiency of our leaders. And what is really happening now, forget about COVID-19. Before COVID-19, we'll be having this problem. So COVID-19 pandemic just complicated the issue, and it really brings out the inefficiencies of our leaders. And we keep on saying it that until our leader could have people's oriented policy, we keep on having this problem that we're having today, because most farmers cannot even go to the farm because of insecurity. Look at what is happening in the whole country. The country has never been divided until now. I'm one of the people that supported the president around that time, looking at his pedigree of what he did in the 1983 to 85 when he was the head of state. But look at what is going on. It's like he's no more in control. It's like things are really fall apart that the center cannot hold. And who is going to hold the center? Is the people, because the election time is coming. Everybody is just concerned about the election, but you have to remember that, and a hungry man is an angry man, because the way things is going, people will start being revolting of not be able to feed their family.
All right, you've talked about one of the ways which is mechanized farming. It's not the first time that this issue of mechanized farming has been proffered as a solution. How come we know about all that we need to do and we are not actually doing what should be done?
It's just the nonchalant attitudes of our leaders. And instead of them to really put the person that know much about this business or know about this sector, they will not. And we have to come to the time that our leader have to remember that it's not the politicians alone that contributed to the emergency to be the leader of this country. What about the people that line up during the rain, during the sun, to vote for these people? But when it comes to the position sharing, they forget about the people. They started sharing the position among the politicians. This trend needs to be changed. If this not to be done, there's nothing wrong if we share 50-50, 50% position to the politician, 50% to the non-politician, because there's no way it's not only the politician that are voting. I'm not a politician, but I vote. You are not a politician, but you vote. So what happens when it comes to the position sharing? So this is part of the nonchalant attitude of our leaders for not addressing the issue with the stakeholders. Look at what really happened, especially with the maize we are talking about. There's no reason why Nigeria should be begging, importing maize, because these are the products that even if you just throw in the floor, if you put the seed in the ground, it's going to germinate, it's going to grow. It's just 2.5 months to 3 months. So what happened to our research and development? Why can't you do a research that is going to favor our climate instead of depending on the imported seed to plant?
Okay, but why are we not depending on imported seeds? Is it that we did not really plant on time this year, or is it because we had a shortage of rainfall at some point in the year? What exactly are the issues?
There are so many issues. As I said, we are no more doing research and development. Had it been that we are doing research and development, we have been able to know, to be able to bring out the seed that be able to germinate in our own climate. And though the climate change is there, because if you look at June, July, August, there was no rain. And when the rain comes, look at what happened in the north. It really damaged some of the. I was in Kebbi last week. I see what people are really going through. Most of the rice, like in Kebbi, already washed away by the flood. And most of the northeast and southwest is nothing to write on. And this is why we depend most of the food coming to the south. So the same thing here in the south. We are looking for rain. We couldn't get the rain. So what happened? Why can't we synergize? Why can't the Minister for Agriculture to really work both in the north and the south, that whenever there's no rain over there, they can use irrigation. Whenever there's no rain in the south, we can use irrigations. So we keep on concentrating on certain region. That is why you see that most of the site depends on the north, because agriculture is well practiced over there. They are well supported both by the federal government and the state government. So I keep on saying that we should stop blaming the federal government. What about the state government? Because the state governments are the custodians of all the lands in the states. They can do and do with this land. Don't just concentrate on estate. Don't just concentrate on generating revenue. The people you are generating revenue, it will come naturally once you are able to give them easy way of doing business. Give lands to the farmer. Give lands to the people that are really ready to farm, not just the speculators. And not only just giving them their land, give them title to the land. That way they can go to the bank and go to their family. I have a title to my land. Can I please get a loan to be able to cultivate certain amount? Because forget about it. With the way we are going in this country, if care is not taken, we're expecting farming to come into this country.
Okay, so what do we need to do specifically? The National Bureau of Statistics just a few days ago brought out some of its report, and it says that Nigeria's inflation for August was highest in 28 months. That's for 2 years. We had the highest inflation rate. What would you advise the federal government on their own part, and of course the farmers who are indeed the ones affected and the ordinary Nigerians? What should we be doing at this critical point?
Well, it's a very sorry case that is going to be more than 13.22% we have now, because we have not been taking the precautions of what needs to be addressed. And to me, what needs to be done quickly is for the federal government, especially through the CBN, to inject money into the circulations. Give money to the business, especially to the micro, small, and medium enterprise. These are the people that really build the economy. Not the big company that they are giving billions of naira to. At the end of the day, they will not be able to account for this money because of the situation in the country, especially the easy way of doing business is not there. So for us to get out of the hood, as I said, money in circulation, and at the same time, you really have to invest more on agriculture at this point, because you have to remember that all over the world now, everybody is looking for where to get food, and we have the arable lands in Nigeria uncultivated. What we just need to do is for our state governors to be active and to be able to be proactive. They are listening. Without agriculture, we are not getting anything. Why all the state governors keep on running to the central for allocations when you can generate your own revenue in your own state? And I don't blame them. I blame the federal government that keep on giving them money. And you have to remember, some of this money is either go to the current expenditures. They have really neglected capital expenditure. That's why you see all over the country there's no good road from the north to the south. Everywhere, even in Lagos here, you can see that we are not developing much on capital expenditure. So most of the money that taken from the central are using for recurrent expenditure, and it's not supposed to be if we really wanted to get out of the hood from all this high inflation that we get ourselves into. And high inflation definitely always leads to unemployment. You can see most of the companies, it's either they are not hiring or they are laying off because there's no money to even run the business. And look at what just happened now that the federal government increased the electricity tariff, and the PMS is going up. So what is really going on? These are what determines the livelihood of people. Because everybody, you like it or you have to use fuel, you have to use petrol. You like it or not, you have to use electricity. If everything is just going up, my brother, I'm sorry for this country.
It is really sad to know that Nigeria is actually headed towards a food crisis. But let's talk about...
No, we are not heading. We are already in the food crisis. Because if you go to the market today, you see what I'm talking about with the prices.
Yes, the price of almost everything, has skyrocketed. Okay, you still talk about farming and the SMEs being the way out of the issues that we have in Nigeria. Looking at what has happened in the past 6 months and COVID-19, would you advise the average Nigerian to get into active farming at this particular time?
At this point, I will say no, they have to slow down because cost of feed, if you just run into it, you are not part of the problem. So why do you have to be the one that really brought the problem? Why do you have to absorb the problem? Because right now, if you see most people in the animal production, they are not doing good because the cost of feed is high because of the price of maize. You can imagine buying a ton of maize now for 200,000 naira, something we used to buy like 50, 60,000. So to me, it's not the idea, but people can go into cash crops or into crops like vegetables or cash crop like oil palm, cocoa, rubber, all those ones will still do good now because these are long time investments. But for now, for a short time, unless you are ready to do irrigations, and don't even think of going into animal production for now because of the feed, unless, because we're supposed to be getting maize right now, but because of the shortage of rainfall in the June, July, August, it makes it so difficult. So even the importation, 4 companies were giving license to bring this maize into the country. Before it could even get to the country, it might be like 2 or 3 months. So what's going to happen down the line between now and the next 3 months? So by December, a lot of some of the food prices will definitely go up more than what we have now.
Okay, let's talk once more. Although you mentioned it in passing, about funding and giving the right funding to the right people. So are you saying over time that the federal government has actually gotten a misplaced priority when it has come to funding the critical sectors of the economy?
Don't get me wrong, the federal government tried their best to fund the sector. Because I read from what the CBN governor have just said, Governor Emefiele, that about 600 billion naira have been injected into the agriculture this year. And I wonder if all this money is really truly injected into the agriculture and it gets to the hand of the real farmers, apart from the portfolio of political farmers, we will not be having the problem we have now. Because if you look around, I know how many farmers come every day, and I belong to so many of this platform of farmers. So everybody is complaining. So where are all this money into? This is why you see the emergency of so many farmers. Because you have to remember that once this money is coming, people are already targeting it. Right from the National Assembly to the executives to the judiciary and to the civil servants also. So the money that's supposed to go to the real farmer to really, these are the people that have been doing this thing. You are just an emergency fund. You don't even know how it looks. So you just pump the money there. At the end of the day, what happens? You lose all this money. And the federal government will be claiming that they have been assisting farmers with all this so huge amount. What I expect the federal government to do through the CBN is to have field workers to inspect and to be able to give report back to the Ministry of Agriculture that this is how much we are able to give out, and this is how the farmers are performing. If there's any shortfall, they should be there to help, especially during the climate change. There's nothing hidden in it that people are not doing well during the climate change. When the maize is so scarce, everybody will know that the maize is scarce, and you'll be able to find a way to help the people that you have given the money to, so that it could be a revolving loan and be able to pay back. And the interest rate they are giving to loans have to be reduced so that they'll be able to pay back on time. Because if you give me a high interest rate on getting a loan from you, I'll be struggling to make profit, to pay my workers, to pay for the material, and I'll be struggling also to pay back the loan. This is why you see so many people they default on the loan because of the high interest rate.
Okay, let's talk one more about another issue. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, says that Nigeria should be able to get out of the woods the first quarter of 2021. Do you see all of that happening? That will be okay by 2021?
To me, it's a political statement. Because this thing, the why so is that we are talking of, agriculture is one of the sectors that provide more employment and more increase our GDP. So if right now things are really bad with agriculture, and agriculture is not a quick fix sector. If you plant something now, before you could even get something out of it, might be like 1 year. So if 1 year now you are talking of first quarter is right there by April, first quarter is over, right? So to me, it's a political statement. I'm trying to dance to the tune of his boss that you have to be able to tell the masses what they wanted to hear so that it can alleviate the crisis and alleviate the anger on the people. To me, it's a political statement, but economical wise, it's not possible.
All right, just before we go on the show, I would just want you to give a bit of an advice to starters, small and medium enterprises, specifically this season of COVID-19 and of course the issue of inflation being at its rate right now. What would you advise them to?
It's just to be cautious. Be cautious on how you spend your money now, because the money you spend now cannot be recovered back if not properly channeled into the right businesses. So you have to be cautious. Not that you cannot go into agriculture. Instead of going into the agriculture, you can go into the value chain, or you can go into commodities trading, like buy eggs, buy some of this food stuff directly from the farmer, and have a small shop, and at the same time add value to it, maybe through the processing. And you can even go into export. You can go into marketing of some of this food stuff. People make money through the marketing of some of this food stuff. So you can make money out of it. You can even go into retailing buy some of these things in bulks. Go to the north and buy them in bulks and started selling them in retail. But be cautious of where you put your money so that you don't get your finger bust at the end of the day.
We have been speaking with the CEO of Bama Farms, Prince Wale Oyekoye, and he's been talking to us about the state of the nation's economy vis-a-vis the food crisis and of course the inflation rate in Nigeria. Many thanks for being a part of the show. Nice one. Talk to any entrepreneur or small business owner and you'll quickly learn that starting a business requires a lot of work. An idea doesn't become a business without effort. I am Justin Akadonye. See you again next time.